message is brought to you by Big Ben.
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah. If you saw my last video, I decided to let the place air out while I do my next video elsewhere. God, that smell. Anyway, the next thing on the agenda is DWI's return to live action. Last Wednesday was a hell of a show, with a few surprises thrown into the mix. The first big surprise was the return of BDS. Turns out he wasn't wiped out like some of us first thought. The GM decided to lay down the law and made a rule that anyone who tried to interfere in any of the matches for the evening would be fired on the spot. So the big thing for the evening was Clone Wars, which brings us to the first match that was booked. ADS made his return as well, taking on BDS in an ego versus ego match, with the winner taking the helm of GM. Now ADS requested this match last month as a stipulation before giving the role of GM to his other half. It started out as a pretty nice match, but from out of nowhere, someone came in from the back with a steel chair in hand and laid out BDS with a DDT right on top of it. A demented son was immediately disqualified, and BDS retained his role as GM. So who was it that interfered? It was none other than the Demon Bat, Super Bat Dan, who for the last couple of weeks has been promising that it was coming. In any event, BDS, being a trooper, got back into the GM seat and fired SBD from the DWI. But it turns out that SBD had every intention of quitting in the first place. Why? Well, it turns out that the Bat's been pretty busy lately. He's getting ready to start his own wrestling federation, with a demented son, ADS, as his advisor. So what is this new rival organization? The SWL, aka the Shenanigans Wrestling League. DWI superstars are being invited to this new promotion, which also promises to have its own superstars. So what do I think of this? Certainly an interesting turn of events, really. Not what I would have expected to happen. I'll keep my eye on this SWL though. But while I've got all the love in the world for ADS, right now, there are things for me to accomplish here in the DWI. So we then move on to another little surprise. BDS gets himself a co-commentator for the evening, in the form of WrestleVessel, who's been showing up in the chat rooms over some of the last few shows that were live. And the next match involved Dwayne of the Dead and Demented Jim, putting on some pretty incredible promos against one another over the last couple of weeks on YouTube, and were set to go against one another in a Jobber Hell match. So what exactly is Jobber Hell? Well, here's how it worked. Dwayne and Jim were put in a bar a few blocks away from the arena, but rather than fight each other, they'd have their own separate one-on-one matches against clowns. The kind of clowns that you can only expect to see in the DWI, that is. So in any case, the idea was for Dwayne and Jim to lose their matches rather than win. If Dwayne could lose his match and Jim couldn't, then he would become the new DWI Jobber Champion. So we started off with Dwayne going up against Blozo. Not a big surprise. By the way, I'd rather not show any footage of these two matches, so just check them out at DWI World Central if you're that curious about it. Dwayne put up a good match, but Blozo managed to knock Dwayne out with his finisher, the comeuppance. And he was dragged away by Blozo, and, well, we don't know what happened, and it's probably better that we don't. From there, we went to a 6-man hardcore tornado tag team match back in the arena. This match involved Team Jobberburger Team Legion being represented by the Grim Creeper and Creep Somber, and the team of Cardine and RD. Pure chaos reigned in the ring with these 6 guys going at it. At the end of it all, though, RD managed to pin JB Chicken of Jobberburger and win the match for himself and Cardine. There was a little aftermath from all of this as well. Looks like Tony Tiny was finally fed up with his partner, and he and the Chicken have officially split all ties with one another. It's kinda sad to see the Lovebirds break up, isn't it? The next match was a big one, to say the least. After making his return at the end of the Darwin's challenge, the real Ghost Lurker got the opportunity to take on the fake Ghost Lurker, who stormed through the Darwin tournament and made a mockery of GL's reputation by siding with the Kempo Kid. Now the real deal once again dominated the match, and after a nasty spit in the fake GL's face, we finally discovered his real identity. It was none other than King Mung Ki, who'd been missing in action ever since Dwayne of the Dead buried him in their Buried Undead match. It seems the monkey has gone through some sort of metamorphosis and may be coming back stronger than ever before. But that wasn't the only surprise in this match. A new face reared its head.
There's another night, bitch! You know who the fuck I am? I'm gonna kill him and I'm gonna rape him and I'm gonna eat his fucking costume. Just wait. I'm gonna beat your ass. Ah!
Well, not the Juggernaut per se, but a giant of a man nonetheless, who manhandled GL in a way that very few in the DWI can say that they have before. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Blackstone, a dark avenger who plans on administering justice to the wrongdoers of the DWI. So why target the Ghost Lurker? Perhaps it's his way of making a statement to everyone else. Whatever the case is, I'll be keeping an eye on this man myself to be sure. Now, since Blackstone's not officially a part of the roster yet, he was safe from being fired by BDS. But will the GM fire him after he joins up? Who knows? We then went back to the bar for the next half of Jobber Hell. This time it was Demented Jim taking on Blozo's good friend, Boozo. Jeez. These two clowns were made for each other. This was a long and painful one, folks. But even after taking a comeuppance late in the match, Jim refused to go out. And surprise, surprise, he managed to knock out Boozo with a nasty chop to his temple. So Jim came out of Jobber Hell the winner, but in the process lost his coveted Jobber title. But guess what? After it was all over with, Dwayne called shenanigans and declared himself not the DWI Jobber Champion. Now apparently, he believes that the match was rigged so that the belt would definitely go to Dwayne. So therefore, it appears that the Jobber belt has been vacated, and Dwayne is demanding that he and Jim face one another in the ring to decide who the real king of the Jobbers is. So will it happen? I guess we'll find out.